These are my notes and quotes from Pastor Doug Riggs' message, The Final Shaking. What will be the conditions prior to the second coming? What should we expect to happen before the rapture? The final shaking in the church deals with that of our old man, which has not gone through experiential crucifixion. It will be touched by the all-consuming fire of God. This isn't about sin, it's about who we are in Adam, that which died 2,000 years ago, yet continues to affect us. When we are living out from the old natural man governed by the soul, we are living out from what is dead to God. That shaking will lead to rapture. The final shaking described in Hebrews 12, verse 25 to 29 is an unfulfilled prophecy as related to the church. I wonder how many Bible prophecy teachers are actually teaching this as what must happen prior to the rapture of the church. We are to be alert and be ready, but if we don't know this is what will occur, how can we be? And if we don't understand the difference between the natural earthly man and the spiritual heavenly man, how will we know what to put off and what to put on? We are to put off the old and put on the new. We either learn to put off the old now prior to the shaking, or it will be done for us. If we judged ourselves rightly, we would not be judged. 1 Corinthians 11:31. Now I say this, brothers and sisters, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God, nor does the perishable inherit the imperishable. 1 Corinthians 15:50. The prince of the power of the air has varying degrees of access to the outer man, depending on generational sin, the person's own way of life, access to man through what he is by nature uncrucified. The cross removes everything from Satan that gives him ground. Our transition from the natural man to the spiritual man will result in resurrection. Life, not only here in time, but will be made reality in our resurrection bodies. It will manifest the development and the formation of Christ formed in us in this life, in the measure in which he's been formed and expressed through our mortal bodies. Then the resurrection body will display the divine significance and reality and manifestation of who he is. This explains what we read in 1 Corinthians 15 about the differing degrees of glory that will be seen in our lives in eternity. Anything that we are depending upon for our well-being, our spiritual life, that has its source in uncrucified soul life, is going to be removed prior to rapture. Jesus says, I'm going to vomit Laodicea out of my mouth. Why? Because they're living out of the soul, they're not living out of their spirit. Though those who believe in a mid- or post-trib rapture are warning us to prepare for the tribulation, we should note there will be this shaking, tribulation if you will, just not the 7-year day of the Lord tribulation. This concludes my sermon notes and quotes from Doug's message. You will find the link to this message here by clicking on the lower left of your screen and more book ministry to the visually impaired audios at the upper left of your screen.